Well, hello, and welcome back to the Chamber Vibes podcast. After a week of hiatus, I'm back as your host, Foster Garrett, Director of Marketing and Events for the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. Let me just tell you what's going on. So every week I interview a different chamber member to find out what they do and why they do it. Recorded right here in beautiful Bedford, Virginia, broadcasting on Grove Street FM, and brought to you by Media Squatch. But before we get to the actual podcast, I do want to tell you about some of our upcoming chamber events. We have an event tomorrow, August 22nd at noon. It's a ribbon cutting to celebrate 22 Gourmet's merger. They merged with another business about 5 months ago, and where they both previously served very sweet items, now they do savory and sweet. And you can get amazing charcuterie boards and all sorts of great things there. So they're going to have some different samples and stuff for us tomorrow, and the whole team is going to be there. It's going to be a good time. If you've never been there, you should really stop by. They're located in Forest, really close to Plato's Closet and that whole strip. But I definitely recommend coming by at noon on August 22nd. If you can't make it, they will be having a second ribbon cutting the following week with our friends at the LRBA. So if you can't make it tomorrow, no worries. You got a second chance. The other event that we have coming up really, really quickly, kind of scarily quickly, is our annual gala, which will be held on September 12th from 5 to 8:30 p.m. at the beautiful Cedar Oaks Farm. If you haven't been to Cedar Oaks before, you really should attend this event, if only just to go there, because it really is absolutely gorgeous. There are views of the peaks all around. We hold our legislative wrap-up breakfast there in the spring, very, very early in the morning, so you get to see the sunrise over the Blue Ridge. And at our gala, you get to see the sunset. So if you go to both, you get both sides of the coin. But our gala is our biggest fundraiser of the year. It's our biggest business gathering of the year. So there's all sorts of people coming from all over the Bedford area to kind of mix and mingle and honor businesses and nonprofits and people in the community that have been absolutely outstanding over the past year or so. And it really is a great time. We're going to have really great food and a silent auction and just lots of stuff. I don't want to hint too much because it is our 85th annual gala, and this is a big anniversary for us, so we've planned some extra things for this year. But we are very, very low on tickets. Ticket sales are actually supposed to close next week, so if you haven't yet gotten a ticket, now is the time to do so. You can find more information and tickets on bedfordareachamber.com. We have a full calendar of events on our website, so you can go look through. We have lots of things coming up later in the year, whether it be educational events or networking or exposure opportunities or just fun events. So go ahead, check it out. And at the very end of the podcast, I will drop our phone number. So make sure to listen all the way through to get that. But without further ado, please allow me to introduce today's guest, Linda Brake with Bedford Ride. Welcome to the podcast. Good morning.
And welcome back.
Thank you. I know.
What a wonderful trip I'm sure you had.
It was a lot of fun, and I'm kind of a nerd, so going anywhere where there's like a lot of like ancient history, it's so cool to me. So this is the perfect place, and the friend who I was going to visit, he's been there for the past year and a half. He's also from Bedford, but he's been studying archaeology. So to go to a really historical city with an archaeologist, I had my own built-in tour guide. Wow. It was awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah, but I am glad to be back.
Well, welcome home.
Thank you.
To beautiful Bedford. And Bedford Ride is also a nominee for Nonprofit of the Year.
Yes,
so we're excited to be attending the gala, as well as my Smith Mountain Lake Civitan Club. We're also nominee for Nonprofit of the Year. So we're excited and can't wait for September 12th to join others in celebrating everyone, because everyone here works so hard and they do such a great job. And in my opinion, everybody's a winner.
Absolutely. I think it's like really amazing. I think it speaks to you that you're involved with two different nonprofits that have been nominated, because we'll get into more about you, Linda, but you're everywhere all the time.
Everywhere all the time, because Bedford is a very large county.
Yes, it is.
And Bedford Ride's turning 23 years old in September.
Wow.
So we're celebrating another milestone. And our volunteers are what drive our program. making sure people have access to medical care.
Well, before we kind of dive into Bedford Ride, can you just tell us a little bit about your background?
My background.
And then segue into how you became involved with Bedford Ride.
Okay. Well, my husband and I are celebrating 30 years living in Bedford, so I now consider myself a native
After 30 years.
from Richmond.
Nice.
And my background is insurance. And when we moved here 30 years ago, I transferred to a field office, the Life Insurance Company of Virginia. I had worked in their home office for a number of years in various areas in underwriting and policy service, and then I was an annuity specialist. Also with Aetna Life and Casualty, so my whole background was nothing but insurance, life and health. And when we moved here, I was able to transfer to a field office in Lynchburg, and I worked there for 3 years. And then when GE bought Life of Virginia and First Colony, all of the field offices that Life of Virginia had were eliminated. So you had to become an independent broker, which I did not have any interest in that. So I decided to go on a hiatus and kind of figure out what my next step was going to be. And lo and behold, the nonprofit world found me. So I started with Bedford Ride. I've been there 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I think God he just put you where you're needed. It's the most incredible place I've ever worked, working with the most extraordinary people. And it really facilitates the strength of our community. And it's just amazing. I cannot ever say enough about the program. It serves a purpose. People had no means to get to and from doctor appointments. If you didn't drive or have support for a ride, then you did without. And then 9 times out of 10, you wound up in the emergency room, tying up emergency services. So after health needs assessments were done by Centra and by Carilion, because at the time Bedford Memorial was jointly owned by the two hospital systems, it was a grassroots approach to start a non-emergency medical transportation program, along with the local foundations, the Bedford Community Health Foundation, Centra Foundation, and also Carilion Foundation, and the Virginia Healthcare. So it was grassroots, local churches. Everyone saw the need and got it all put together. And 23 years later, we're still going strong.
That's awesome. I think it's really cool. I had Denny Huff
Yes.
on the podcast. Well, not last week, but the week before. It feels like last week to me. But we talked a lot about the power of nonprofits and people coming together to fill gaps in our community. And Bedford Ride, of course, came up. I mean, Bedford Ride is amazing. Every time I hear you talk about Bedford Ride, it just continues to grow larger and larger because there's such a need for what you do. Can you tell us just a little bit about how Bedford Ride functions? You've mentioned that it's volunteer run.
Yes, all of our drivers are carefully vetted volunteers. We do the background checks, the annual DMV checks, and also the urine drug screening, our insurance mandates that we have all of that covered, as well as we're transporting a vulnerable population, older adults, persons with disabilities. We do not do the Medicaid transportation because that's contracted through a state agency. So we cover people who may have partial Medicaid that they don't have the transportation piece, or just folks that are disabled and not able to drive, or they're older adults that have lost their ability to drive. Some may be able to drive locally, but driving in Lynchburg or driving in Roanoke or Salem, they don't have the confidence to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get older, you're not as nimble as your reflexes, and so they all have a kind, vetted volunteer take them. We do a lot of veteran transportation to the Salem VA. We help with dialysis patients. Right now, we're at capacity with that.
Mm.
We need more volunteers so we can help backfill the need for transports there. The more volunteers we have, the more people we can serve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to volunteer. It's not like you have to drive every day. You can drive once a week, once a month. It it's whatever your schedule. We have long trips, short trips. Short trip would be just dropping a patient off at dialysis or picking them up in the afternoon and taking them
Mm-hmm.
home. And within an hour, hour and a half, you're done. So, or taking a veteran to the Salem VA. They've served their country, and our community is serving them. We're giving back to what they gave to us. So it's their pleasure to be able to serve that population as well. And of course, a cancer patient needing to go, living alone, needing to go for radiation treatments or chemotherapy, we're there to help with that. And if you live alone and you don't have anyone, cancer is a pretty scary
Mm-hmm.
diagnosis. And I'd like to share a story, and it happened right when COVID hit. It was a lady that was 80, in her early 80s, diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer.
Mm.
They and she they wanted her to go through the treatments, and she lived alone and didn't have any family or any support. And she called, and we got her enrolled into our program, and we took her every day for her radiation treatments. She had 4 weeks of radiation and then had chemo. And we were there for her. But it's more than just a ride. It's someone that lives alone, excuse me, especially older people, and they don't have any other human contact.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a social bond there.
Yeah, and I think that 2020 especially was so isolating for
Very.
so many people, even people that had family. I can't imagine what it would have been like to have been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and to live alone and to be older and not have anybody else. So I think it's what what the volunteers do.
Mhm.
It is more than just a ride. It's that calling back to the community that you are cared for, even if you are by yourself in your house. Because that's something that I think a lot of people love about Bedford. It's one of the reasons I chose to come back home is that if you walk down the street, people are going to smile at you, people are going to talk to you, people are going to wave at you, even if they don't know you, because we're all a part of this community together.
It's
And
almost like the Bedford get together.
yes,
We're
yeah,
all together.
we are.
And when we were looking to move out this way, and we looked at a number like Roanoke, Botetourt, Franklin County, Bedford was the last place that we came.
Mm.
And it was something about Bedford. I don't know what just like people were friendly. It just the most beautiful place to live.
It is. And I mean, the beauty plays a huge part in it. You can't go somewhere as beautiful as this with the mountains and everything. But it's really interesting with this podcast too, because I meet so many people and I get to know them really well. And I always ask, if they're from here, why did they stay? If they moved here, what made you come? What made you choose it? And there are people from like Wyoming, from Alaska, that threw darts down on the maps and were blessed to end up here. People that visited a couple different places like you did and were like, this is where we're going to go. And now these people are doing really excellent things in Bedford. So
It's just the best place to be, and all the best people live
mhm.
here. That's the way I see it. I never thought would ever live in a community that had so many wonderful people. And this is a very large county. And
It is.
people out by the lake, up in Big Island, Montvale, Forest, Thaxton. They're just the most amazing people. And it to me, I don't have a job because I go in every day, and it's like I can't wait to be around these people
That's awesome.
because they inspire me.
Yeah.
And it's like, you surround yourself with the very best, and nothing but the best can happen.
That is, I think people listening to that, they feel that. Because you never want to wake up and go to work and be surrounded by people that you hate or do things that you hate. And I don't know. I think you're very blessed to have found this job as well.
Oh, I feel extremely blessed, and that we can share this blessing to others in our community, because it is a lifeline. If you think of someone living alone that doesn't drive, and a lot of times disabilities cannot be seen. Someone may have seizure disorders or visual impairment or something that prevents them from being able to drive. And I'll share another story. There was a lady, and this was quite a few years ago. She was driving to Roanoke with one of her friends that were going to go shopping. She was involved in a very traumatic accident that she had a head injury, a brain injury, and and her husband was a truck driver, so he was on the road. If he didn't work, he didn't get paid. So we took her 3 times a week, and there was a special therapist in Roanoke that dealt with brain injuries, traumatic injuries, for her to go for therapy, physical therapy. And we took her and she was so afraid to be in a vehicle. If you can imagine, having something like that. But having a volunteer that's, calm and, and understanding, and they are the most understanding people, just to get her there and get her therapy and then take her back home and then reassure her that everything's going to be okay. And her husband was just so thankful that we were there to be able to serve, because if he had to do it, then he had no income coming in, because it was a single income household. So we also help the caregivers.
Yeah. And I think something that's really unique about Bedford Ride is you don't really have, like, if somebody cannot get a ride for whatever reason, you can usually assist them. There's not an age limit or something like that. Because I think a lot of people, when they think of like Bedford Ride or like CVACL, they think like 55 plus or something like that. But it's really anybody that just needs assistance.
And anyone that's not on full Medicaid. Of course, we do not transport children, and generally children have full Medicaid. But yes, CVACL, they have, it's 60 and over. It's the Area Agency on Aging, so their services. But they also have another program that covers people under.
Gotcha.
They got a federal grant. So it helps those that are underage, that don't live in Bedford, because Bedford Ride is the primary transportation through CVACL. Of course, we are independently funded. We don't receive any of the federal or state funding. We do get some support from Bedford County. Bedford County's been very instrumental in our program, because if we're not getting people to medical care, then EMS is having to pick them up. It's a joint partnership. They've always supported us, and they even helped us during COVID when I was unable to obtain PPE for our volunteers. They were able to get me some until I was able to get it.
That's awesome.
Because we couldn't transport without masks. So they helped. And that was one thing, a lot of COVID was a very negative thing to happen. But I've never been more prouder than in how our community came together and making sure everybody had what they needed. And our county just stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. It was, we had people that couldn't, older people that couldn't get to the grocery store. And we were Bedford Ride, since most of the medical transports were of need, as
Mm-hmm.
in dialysis, cancer, and because most doctors weren't seeing
Yeah.
anybody for regular checkups or anything. We were partnering with food banks to get food to people
Oh,
who
wow.
could not get out.
Mm-hmm.
So our volunteers would go pick it up and then deliver, put it on the porch because there was no contact
Mm-hmm.
going in the home. But we forged a lot of great
Mm-hmm.
partnerships. And that, even though it was a horrible thing to happen, COVID, it just solidified our community. And even Denny, I mean, Denny was right on the problem, and he helped me get PPE too. Um, Everybody looks out after each other here and making sure, people have what they need. There's always going to be needs.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't have the resources to provide for all the needs, but we definitely do the best we can.
Yeah, and your volunteers, I mean, those are some really incredible people.
Mm-hmm.
How many volunteers do you have right now? And also, you've mentioned some of like the testing and the
Mm-hmm.
different things that qualify you to be a volunteer, but is there anything else that people should know before inquiring?
Well, we have about 50, but
Nice.
they don't all drive at the
Mm-hmm.
one time. I mean, they're retired and they're enjoying life as they should be. And all of the testing we pay for. We pay for everything. So
Mm-hmm.
to volunteer, they'll just, call, or they can send us an email through our website. If they're interested in volunteering, I'll contact them to set up a time for them to come in, and we'll do the background check, and I'll take them up to the lab. We used Bedford Memorial's lab
Mm-hmm.
for the urine drug screening, and then we'll send off the DMV. You have to have positive driving record. If you have negative points, air insurance says no, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a simple process, and then you just give us your availability, and in our current volunteers, they let us know when they're going on vacation,
Mhm.
or when they're having family in, or when they're not available. And we also look after our own volunteers because they're older, and some of them have health issues, and if they need help getting to a doctor appointment, we're there to help them. And I think when someone comes on, a new volunteer, we pair them up with a seasoned one,
Mm.
and then that way they can see how everything
Yeah.
works. And so you're not just here are the keys, go
Yeah.
pick somebody up. You're paired with a seasoned volunteer, so they'll go over the ropes, which it's just basic little bit of paperwork.
Mhm.
You have a ride sheet that you document the mileage and your time, because we track all the volunteer time, and volunteers with 100 hours of service or more, we send to Washington Points of Light, and
Mm.
they get a certificate, a signed certificate from the president
Oh,
of the
wow.
United States. And depending on the level, they get a medal or a pen. And then we have a volunteer appreciation picnic
Mhm.
in the summer, and then we give them the awards and celebrate them.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
You've been you've been with Bedford Ride for 20 years,
Yes.
and you've been managing a pretty big group of volunteers since then.
Hmm.
Do you have any advice to any volunteer coordinators out there that perhaps are new to their role or trying to build their program?
My advice is to join your chamber, your local chamber, and I'm a member of all the chambers because all the chambers provide different a different set of events. It gains you more exposure to more people, and partnerships in your community are very important. So it's important that people know what you do. They may hear about your program, but they may not know exactly all the details of what you're doing and who's benefiting from it. With our program, our whole community benefits. It's a healthy community. Everybody wants to live in a thriving community where people have access to medical care. And now we have the Otter Bus, which gives people access to go when they want to go to the store or wherever, because that was one of the greatest creations that came out of the Bedford Area Resource Council, which I'm part of, and I'm on the transportation board with Denny, and doing all the surveys to see what people's needs are and what people want. It's not what we want to give them. What do you all need? And that's the whole thing about doing surveys, is gathering that information, seeing the need. And we have plenty of apartment communities around here, and folks that don't drive. And the Otter Bus, it was just a wonderful. It doesn't compete with us. We complement each other. It's another compliment to our community.
Absolutely. And your point about assessments, I interned with the Weldon Cooper Center for Public Service when I was in college. And part of what set me onto the path of wanting to work in public service and working for nonprofits and government was that internship, because I did communications, I did design, which is not really like in the like on the street doing things, but a lot of what I did was breaking down their assessments for different communities. And they did this very extensive survey for Louisa County about their food deserts. And Louisa, I mean, they're much smaller than we are, but they're similar in a lot of ways.
I know where Louisa is. It is.
Well, and what they were able to do with the information was just incredible, because they are able to take action in all the areas that needed help and fill those gaps. And some of the gaps, you wouldn't believe that, a place like, I mean, comparatively, like you would imagine that like Montvale, Thaxton, Huddleston, like those places would have food deserts. But you wouldn't imagine that somewhere like Forest would. And Louisa, that survey, you weren't able to predict where people were struggling just based off your knowledge. You had to go talk to those people and figure out what it is that they need. What are you lacking? And it was just amazing, because if you talk to people, you never know what you might learn.
Exactly. And the Bedford Area Resource Council is the most wonderful group. It's a very large group. I don't know if you've ever attended one of our meetings. Sometimes it's a little smaller during the summer because people are going on vacation. But I'm proud to be a part of it, because we sit as a group. We're not in silos, and we listen, and then we put a plan together, and then we try and solve whatever problem needs to be addressed in our community to help people live a better life.
Well, Linda, I want to ask you a couple other things, because there's so much to do with Bedford Ride.
We could talk all day.
We really could talk all day. That's why I'm trying to be conscious of the time. But you need volunteers to be drivers.
Correct.
Do you need any other volunteers for anything else?
Well, one of our largest fundraisers is coming up, the Smith Mountain Lake Charity Home Tour. We are hosting the Graham Home, which is off of Hendrick Store Road. So it's on the Moneta side of the lake. And we've got a few more spots that we need to fill for help on the dock when the boats are coming in, the visitors coming by boat. and help him with parking. And we have a few more spots left in the home to be stationed in, and they'll have a little card to read particulars about the area of the home they're in. But it's a beautiful A-frame home that was totally redesigned by Circle Design out of Roanoke, and they're one of our sponsors. And it's a great day. It's 3 days. It's Friday, Saturday, and a half a day on Sunday. So if you want to spend a day at the lake amongst other wonderful volunteers, just, let us know and we'll plug you in. And it's, like I said, this is our 3rd year, and it's an amazing event.
I remember we talked a lot about it last year when you came on the podcast, and it was funny, I never heard of it before, but then everybody I talked to about it were like, oh my gosh, I love the charity home tour.
34. This is year 34.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
but it's, gosh, I think last year the tour raised $167,000.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's one of the largest fundraisers in this area. There's people from out of state that come. We had last year over 2,000 people come through our home.
Wow.
And quite a few from out of state.
Yeah.
They'll do a girls' trip, stay at a place at the lake, and then you've got 3 days to hit all 8 homes.
Oh, that sounds really fun.
Yeah.
And that's a good point for any of your sponsors. You have a lot of people coming through, like a lot.
Exactly.
And a lot of people with money, I might say.
Yes. And it's still, if there is someone out there that wants to sponsor, we are still accepting sponsorships.
Oh, really?
Yes. The charity home tour guide has already gone into print, but your sponsorship you'll get the other benefits with your website and logo and all that loaded up onto the website, the charity home tour, which drives a lot of traffic. Plus, if you sponsor Bedford Ride, I will be promoting you as well on social media. And of course, the charity home tour also will do that as well on their social media outlets, promoting all the sponsors. Sponsors are what makes this happen.
Yes.
You could not have the charity home tour without sponsors. It's 100% sponsorship. There's no paid individuals doing anything. Even the board, the charity.
Oh, really?
There's nobody's paid. No, it's all volunteer. That's why I love it. It's I'm with a different set of volunteers.
That's true. I hadn't really thought of it like that.
Yeah, it's all volunteers. So,
yeah.
But it's 8 wonderful charities, and you can go to the Charity Home Tour website, and you can see the charities, read up on them, and you can also do your sponsorship online onto the website.
Well, good stuff. And I have to ask, what way can businesses support Bedford Ride?
If the business offers, I know some businesses offer time to volunteer. We have a volunteer in Forest. His company allows him once a month to volunteer.
Nice.
So he gives us one Friday a month, and we fill his slot. So
easy as that, huh?
It's easy as that, but I don't know what the tax guidelines are. If you give people, well, I mean, there could be a benefit to the to the business for time off.
True.
Yeah. If you're giving employees, time off to volunteer. But anyway, or I mean, they could make a donation and become a partner in supporting rides for older adults and persons with disabilities and veterans. I know, like the Elks, Keith Campbell, he always he writes a grant to help with veteran transportation. We operate on a sliding fee scale, and it's based on income. So but the majority of the individuals that use our service pay nothing.
Mm.
The program absorbs it.
Gotcha.
So what's paying for it is the donations that
Mhm.
we receive are supporting the ride for these people. Right now, we serve 120 people. We're on track to do over 3,000 rides this year alone, this fiscal year.
Wow.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes, and 20 wheelchair accessible vans in our cars. So there's a lot of maintenance, inspections, tires,
Mhm.
you know, mechanical issues. So their their donation will be going to support the
Mhm.
program, and so we can make it another 23 years.
The numbers are really incredible. I mean, knowing that Bedford County, we have over 70,000 people living here.
Mm.
You're serving 120 with a staff of 50, and you're doing 3,000 rides a year for 100.
Not a staff.
A volunteer.
A staff of volunteers. Because there's only 2 staff for our program.
Oh, really?
It's me,
Mhm.
and my duties, my responsibilities are to raise the funding for this program
Mhm.
annually to operate, and to recruit volunteers, and also to be out in the community, um, you know, for awareness
Mhm.
of our program, because there's still people who don't know who we are.
Mhm.
And our program coordinator, who takes the calls in for the rides and gets people enrolled in the program, and she works with the volunteers coordinating the rides out
Gotcha.
to get them filled.
But still, the numbers.
Yeah.
With 120 people enrolled, doing 3,000 rides a year, there's 70,000 people. We're a very aging county, where we have some of the highest median age in our area. And we're perhaps the fastest growing county west of Richmond. So taking all that into account, there's so much more that can be done.
Absolutely. And we would love to have you part as the family. Say, and everyone that has joined our volunteer base, I mean, they love it. If you like to drive, and it's and we do allow, like, if you're driving someone to Roanoke, or if you need to run an errand while somebody's at the doctor, as long as you tell your patient, and it's perfectly fine. You
Nice.
can run your errand, and a lot of times they'll give the person their cell phone, and when you're ready, call, I'll come pick you up, or going to Lynchburgers.
It's very convenient.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, do you have anything else coming up? Anything you want to add in before we kind of wrap up?
Charity home tour's the big thing, and of course the gala. We're looking forward to that. And I sent you my email. It'll be the most I've ever sat with my own people at a gala, but it's going to be fun. We're so looking forward to it. And Cedar Oaks is such a beautiful venue.
It really is.
I just love that place. It is Bedford.
It is. It really is like the heart of Bedford, and
it certainly
the family that owns it they've done such a great job with improving it every single year, and I feel like it just gets more and more gorgeous.
It does, but we're just very blessed and fortunate, and we have the chamber. Y'all are just a great group.
Thank you.
Y'all are like extended family.
Oh,
but you're always there to help businesses and help promote, and you're doing a great job promoting the nonprofits, and thank you for doing that.
Of course, I'm trying to do more, because what we do isn't just business. We try to support organizations, the organizations that make Bedford what it is.
We need to have a nonprofit fair once a year.
We really should.
Yes. That way the community can see all the crown jewels together and learn about the different programs that keep us all together.
I agree. Maybe we should put our heads together.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Well, Linda, thank you so much for joining me today. I always love having conversations with you, but this has been really informative, and I'm glad that we did this.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Well, if people want to get in touch with you, or
that's important,
learn more about Bedford Ride, we should add that in. Yeah. What's the best way?
They can go online or through our website, bedfordride-cvacl.org. They can go through Facebook, or they can call me directly at 540-587-3215, or they can email at B as in boy, ride at cvcl.org.
Perfect. I always try to include that information because I love to drop our phone number at the end, which if you want to learn more about our chamber, you can call us at 540-586-9401. And our website is bedfordareachamber.com. It has all sorts of information about our mission and the perks of becoming a member. But also on our website is a full directory of our membership, which is helpful for finding all sorts of great things in the region, including Bedford Ride. But that's all for today. Thanks so much for listening, and keep an ear out for next Chamber Vibes podcast.